The New York Knicks in the NBA Finals, everybody. After 2 years of getting to the Eastern Conference Finals of heartbreak against the Pacers, the New York Knicks have finally broken through that glass ceiling and are literally at the doorstep of destiny. Shout out to Kevin Wiles. And their run to the finals has been nothing short of stellar. Two sweeps against Philly and the Cleveland Cavaliers. They're currently on an 11-game win streak, which is the third longest win streak in the playoffs in NBA history. They've won each of those games by an average of 22.5 points per game. This team is just coming together, is clicking at the right time. Everyone is on the same page. This Knicks team is on not just a magical run, but also a historic run as well. The Knicks have had one of the best 10-game stretch in the postseason by point differential. They've been better than the 27 Warriors. They've been better than the 97 Bulls. They've been better than the 73 Milwaukee Bucks. The Knicks, this team is just, it's so crazy that we're watching a team like this. I hope we will be able to have enough time to grasp what they're really doing here, because it is truly incredible. And even above like the bells and whistles of the stats and the everything, I think even their team building, the work that Leon Rose and his team have done over these past 4 years, deserves so much credit as well. Because constructing a team that is so fit for the current landscape of the league, which thrives on depth, which thrives on protecting your star players, maximizing your star players' offensive skill, and minimizing his weaknesses. They've done that perfectly. Understanding what Jalen Brunson is, and then allowing him to have a defensive structure around him, with Mikal Bridges, sending those 5 picks for Mikal Bridges, sending RJ Barrett and Emmanuel quickly for OG Anunoby. Such incredible moves. Even sending a pick for Josh Hart. They've done so much incredible work in identifying talent that is going to fit, and has an incredible high floor. Not necessarily a high ceiling, but a high floor. And doing that has just helped this team so much, honestly. And even in their riskiest move, which was the CAD move, even in that, there was so much to love about them. Bring someone who's a space on the floor, understanding that your big man has to be a space at some point. Understanding that Cat is also a brilliant playmaker. That I think they've done a brilliant job in that, an incredible job in just constructed this team together. And also bringing in, especially this season, bringing in depth that has been so impactful. Bringing in Landry Shamet, Deuce McBride obviously is there, and then you have people like Mitch Raub, and then having what's his name, Jordan Clarkson. So many incredible pieces that are like, bro, you have literally 9 players who you can play in the playoffs. That is incredible. That's a big reason why they're in the finals. Each of those depth pieces have had opportunity to shine, and each of them also has an identity that is also rooted in their effort and their hustle. And even before we continue, I really want to talk about Coach Mike Brown, because I think that he has had one of the most interesting journeys as a coach. I was reading about him yesterday on this article on Anscape, and just his history with starting with coaching LeBron, and then having this term as like him being called LeBron's coach, and then him having been fired, and then being hired again, and then being fired again, and then being an assistant head coach, going to Sacramento, having him being fired there after in the second season after winning, after taking them to the playoffs. I think it's so interesting, him as a coach, his journey as a coach, and the honestly, he's been one of the most obviously he's eccentric. He's very eccentric. He's very like, you can see he wears his heart on his sleeve. And I'm so appreciative of like coaches like that, in terms of just being able to like keep going, him constantly like having this team focused energy about him. Like you see how he interacts with the players. It is so interesting to me. I think it is. He's one of my favorite coaches. Just out of not out of wins or anything, but just as a coach, as someone who is there to be there for their players, to help them to be better, to implement systems, to connect with players. And I think Cat, I think, is one of the coolest stories, because we saw he started off, man, I don't know what my role is. I'm just here to play and to do well. And then boom, boom, to the end of the season, the playoffs, he's literally now the hub of the team. He's the engine now, playmaking, and him using his size to take advantage of mismatches and everything. Now Cat is like that guy. He knows what he's there for. How he connects with how he connects with different players, like even on the bench. Like there's so many cool things. He's very easy to going double big sometimes, going knowing the different alignments, adjustments to make. I remember there was a game that Landry Shamet closed the game out. Like those type of things. He has his hand on the pulse in a way that is so different from other coaches. One of the most interesting things I've seen him do is like when he's on the when during timeouts, he's very quick to like he allows like another coach like handle the X's and O's. That is so interesting to me. Like he's so like bro, he looks like a regular guy. Like during those timeouts, he doesn't feel like he's the coach or anything. Like he's so comfortable giving as much, putting the attention away from himself. And I think there's something human about that as a coach. I think there's something foundational about that, about using that platform to allow other people to shine. I think that's one of my coolest things. Just as a person, as someone who really appreciates him as a coach, I'm very very impressed by Coach Mike Brown. Yeah, definitely one of my favorite guys, man. Shout out to him. And then finally, New York fans. New York is called the Mecca of basketball. And what I was reading about that is that it's because of like there's such an influx of migrants and people from different areas and economic backgrounds, and so many different walks of life, socially, economically, different ways. Basketball has always been that one thing that has brought them together. It has been that one thing that has allowed these group of people from different places, usually in the toughest of conditions most of the times, it has been an area for them to express themselves. You know, sneaker culture is a big thing. Having the coolest kicks, having the nicest moves, the swag that you have, the sense of ownership of this, like the basketball for a lot of the growing up in New York, a basketball for a lot of these people is like is there a safe space? Is there a space where they can express themselves, where everything kind of fades away? And that and so on a deeper level, I think also spiritually, like that, I think that's another reason why it's called the Mecca of basketball. Is like there's something spiritual about how they view basketball, and I think it's so interesting to see. Even like when you see the fans, obviously the celebrity show is a big thing, but it's so cool to see how like um those guys on NBA on the New York Knicks TV, like the ping pong guys and all of that, like those people have the same energy as Timothy Chalamet, and it's so cool to see like that like those two things happening at the same time, where these people who would probably never have access to each other, have opportunities to meet to each other, they meet at the New York Knicks game, and that is something that is like so cool. There's so much there, like sociologically it is like, oh my god, that is like such a cool. It's I love things like that, where it's another reason why we love sports. It is the great equalizer. It just brings us all together. It allows us to connect in so many different ways. So my days. It is. I'm glad that that New York and the New York Knicks are having this moment to shine. I'm glad that the fans are having a moment to like enjoy such a really good team, a historic team actually, has this moment to shine. And man, I can't wait to see what they do in the finals. They are. It's not like they've. It's not like a cake run. They deserve to be there, and they've certainly stamped their mark in NBA history with how wild they've been, man. So I can't wait to watch the NBA finals and to see whoever they meet. Yeah, and that's it from me. I'll see you guys.